Welcome to another video by LDS Nerds. In this video, we explore gospel parallels and themes in the Harry Potter movies. Released starting in 2001, the movies are an adaptation of a series of popular fantasy books by author J.K. Rowling. The story revolves around an orphan boy named Harry Potter, who discovers he is a wizard. He's introduced to the wizarding world, where he's trained in the ways of magic, makes friends, finds out about his parents, and takes on the evil Lord Voldemort. The world portrayed in the Harry Potter books and brought to life in the movies is fantastical and full of all kinds of magical beings and unique places. The battle of good versus evil is typical of good fantasy series, but there are several themes in these movies which also closely mirror specific gospel principles. The magical world Harry is introduced to is hidden and distinct from the world in which non-magical humans reside, who are commonly referred to as Muggles. The Muggle world is full of unbelievers and is reliant on technology. Most of the residents do not know about magic. Students accepted to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry get a letter usually delivered by an owl. Once enrolled, they are sorted into houses, each with its own crest, with which they are to be associated throughout their education. The houses each have attributes and qualities they are known for, as well as various wizards of prominence. There is some crossover between peoples of each world, as non-magic parents can produce magical children and vice versa. Unbeknownst to the Muggle world, the wizarding world is a place of great battles of good versus evil, the consequences of which could affect non-magic people as well. In the Gospel, believers have generally been known to be associated with the children of Israel, while those who are not of this lineage, or more importantly, do not have the gospel, are known as Gentiles. The children of Israel were divided into tribes, each with its own symbol that they would display when in camps. The tribes were scattered and many intermarried and lived among the Gentiles. Over time, it has become difficult to directly identify lineages. When a member of the church gets a patriarchal blessing, they are usually told the lineage they are descended from. Many of the Gentiles and Israelite descendants know very little of the gospel and consider it myth and fiction. Technology has often played a part in man's reliance on itself and a turning away from God's teachings. The tribes of Israel will be gathered again and play a prominent role during the second coming, helping to protect the Gentiles from Satan's forces. Another theme in the Harry Potter movies is that of agency. Harry is foretold in prophecy to be the one who has the power to defeat Lord Voldemort. It also states that neither can live while the other survives. Despite this, Harry has the ability to choose his fate, learn and make mistakes along the way, and determine his own destiny. In the movie Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Dumbledore tells Harry it is not our abilities that show what we truly are, it is our choices. In Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Dumbledore also states that dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must choose between what is right and what is easy. Harry is tempted several times by Voldemort and chooses compassion, loyalty, and goodness throughout his life. He does not back down from the challenge of what he's meant to become, nor does he give up. Agency and foreordination are two very important gospel principles. As stated in the Guide to the Scriptures, agency is the ability and privilege God gives people to choose and to act for themselves. Each of us has the ability to decide what path we want our life to take. As we choose righteousness over sin and charity over pride, we move closer to the kind of people God wants us to be. Our ability to become like God is so dependent on agency, a war in heaven was fought over it. Foreordination is God's premortal ordination or appointment of his valiant spirit children to fulfill certain missions during their mortal lives. Like Harry, many of God's children were chosen to fulfill certain roles in leadership when they came to the earth. However, each person decides for themselves what path they will follow. Foreordination is not destiny. God's work and his glory will continue regardless of what an individual chooses. It's up to that person to fulfill their potential. Continuing this theme a bit further, let's focus on Lord Voldemort. Originally born as Tom Riddle, he embraced supremacist ideals and chose the Dark Wizard's path of death and destruction while also seeking immortality. He started wars, seeking to rule the entirety of the wizarding worlds. He gained an army of followers mainly referred to as Death Eaters, but which also include the wraith-like Dementors who feed on human happiness and leave depression and despair in their wake. Dementors even consume souls. Voldemort's own soul ends up trapped in limbo due to being split among magical Horcruxes in an attempt to achieve immortality. His hubris, selfishness, and ego ultimately result in his defeat. As with all myth-making and storytelling, all evil roads lead back to Satan. Originally known as Lucifer in the pre-existence, Satan was a son of the morning and a being of some prominence. He sought to destroy the agency of others through an alternative plan to God's in the council in heaven, inciting a war which he lost. Those that followed him, amounting to a third part of the host of heaven, were bound to the earth where they would never receive a body. Satan continues his war on agency and seeks to make everyone miserable like him and to gain followers. He and his minions tempt and entice mankind in order to destroy their souls and leave them in misery. Despite his end already being foretold, Satan will lead the forces of evil against God's forces in one last battle, where he will be defeated for good. His followers, along with relatively few who did receive a body but turned against God and served Satan, will be known as the sons of perdition. They will not be redeemed from spiritual death and cannot dwell in a kingdom of glory. Theirs will be torment as a lake of fire and brimstone, whose flame ascendeth up forever and ever, and has no end. That's all for this video. Let us know what other gospel themes you remember from the Harry Potter movies in the comments, and please subscribe to our channel and tell your friends. Thanks for watching another LDS Nerds creation. Be sure to check out our store for gospel-themed geek merchandise.